Yo, what's up guys, and welcome back to another special event on Gran Turismo 7. This time it happens to be the Honda eMS Racing Online Qualifier event. This means we are racing the full course layout of Lago Maggiore in the Honda NSX Concept vehicle. The vehicle is equipped with racing medium tires, and the current world record is set at a 138.9. That leaves us at least to beat a 141.8. So let's get right into the cut. And we start this lap a bit ahead, because it's crucial to get the previous lap's last corner right. So just ahead of this black board on the right hand side, give it a short tap to the brakes, down to 4th, let the car coast into the corner, and as soon as possible, even earlier than I did, you may go back to the power. Then accelerate up to 6th gear, and the first brake marker then is the second black board right on top of you. So just below this one, hard into the brakes in a straight line, then open up the brakes for trail braking, down to 2nd, over the curb on the left, short power input before going into the brakes again, down to 1st, keep it narrow within this corner, early up to 2nd, and then gently back to the power to avoid power oversteer. Now up to 4th gear and over to the right hand side, then turn in, get close to the curb on the left, use some lifting of the power pedal, and then the next brake marker is this orange barrier on the right hand side of your screen. Slight tap to the brakes down to 2nd, then coast to the inside curb up to 4th early, and then gently back to the power, and then try to use the whole width of the track, cause the more you do this, the earlier you can go back to the power without having the car snap on you. And now for the next one, you brake quite late and go for late apex, so I use the end of this grey marking next to the left hand side of the track. So hard into the brakes, then down to 3rd gear and really slow that car down to avoid understeer when turning in, then let the car coast shortly and back to the power in 3rd, and again be cautious cause the car might snap. Then over to the right hand side of the track, and shortly after the beginning of this curb on the right hand side, short tap to the brakes down to 3rd for turn in, then up to 4th and immediately flat out again. You can really cut a lot of these curbs and now keep it flat out through the whole next sector. The key to keep it flat out here is really to find the ideal line through this chicane. And now if you're at a time of 54.5 or below, you're on track for a good lap. And now for the bank corner, first go downhill and then you see these 3 advertisements on the right hand side. The very last one of these is your brake marker. Hard into the brakes in a straight line, down to 3rd gear, then turn in early up to 4th and immediately flat out again in 4th gear and use all the width of the track to maximize momentum and speed out of this one for this uphill section. And now again with a high amount of downforce, this chicane left and right hand, you can take flat out. Then go over to the left hand side of the track, and the next brake marker is in between the marshal box on the left and the 50 board that's coming up. So that in between, hard into the brakes shortly, down to 3rd, then let the car coast onto this curb on the right hand side. Short power input, use all the width of the track, then lift the power pedal gently to the brakes to go over the curb on the right hand side, and then flat out again in 3rd and go over the curb on the left. And now again, going for that last corner, go to the right hand side of the track, the black board marks your brake marker, and then a bit early is better than too late, go short into the brakes down to 4th, let the car coast over this curb and immediately flat out downhill. And as you can see, you can really abuse the track limits a lot and go to the finish line to get yourself a gold time and 2 million credits. And now let's quickly review this lap once more from chase cam. So getting out of the last corner in high speed, the second black box above you marks your brake marker. Hard into the brakes down to 2nd gear, then coast over the left hand side curb, short power input, braking again down to 1st, early up to 2nd, gently back to the power to avoid power oversteer. Over to the right hand side of the track up to 4th gear, then slightly lift to keep it close to the left hand side curb, the orange barrier on the right marks your braking. Down to 2nd shortly, close to the inside curb, early up to 4th and use all the width of the track to be able to go to the power early without having power oversteer. Then there's a grey area next to the track on the left. Shortly after that, hard into the brakes down to 3rd, let the car coast close to the inside curb, then early back to the power again and try to avoid having the car snap on you. Then at the beginning of the curb on the right hand side, short brake input down to 3rd, early up to 4th and immediately flat out again, and really cut a lot of these curbs to get your ideal line without having to lift that power. And this sector time at 54.5 or below was always a good hint if my lap was a great one or better retry. Then you come to this bank corner, so the very last advertisement on the right, this black one, marks your braking. So hard into the brakes, down to 3rd, then turn in early up to 4th and immediately flat out again to get momentum and speed for this uphill section. The upcoming left and right hander again is flat out due to the high amount of downforce that car has. And then go over to the left hand side of the track and in between the marshal box and the 50 board, hard into the brakes, down to 3rd, then coast over the curb on the right hand side. Short power input using all the width of the track, followed by a very gentle brake input to get close to the right hand side curb and then flat out, going for that last corner over to the right hand side before the black board, Short into the brakes, cut a lot of the curb on the left, and very early back to the power abusing those track limits to get to the finish line and finish this challenge at a gold medal. So what are my thoughts on this Honda Racing eMS challenge? I think this one is quite great fun if you like fast cars, cause this one being a Group 2 vehicle is just insanely fast. It has good grip if you have downforce, but out of corners it tends to snap, so you have to be a bit cautious. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this one and the guide helped you out, feel free to drop a like, share the video and subscribe to my channel. And then I say thanks for watching again. I hope to see you guys in the next one, and bye bye.